This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And as promised in the video earlier about Jericho Sims, we're just going to break down a little bit of what the Knicks have done today in free agency. It's not a whole lot, but it's enough to talk about. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into it. I got my man Tony Crow here. And, we're going to go ahead and break this thing down. I do want to remind you all, ladies and gentlemen, that in about a week or so, you're going to get some information about the first annual NBK cookout. It's going to take place in Brooklyn. I want to see you all there, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be dope. Let me get my man Tony Crow up in here, and we're going to start breaking some things down. Tony, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
What's good, Sim? Fresh off work and ready to pod.
You know what I mean? We had a nice podcast this morning on the front stoop, man. Ladies and gentlemen, if you weren't there, you couldn't catch it. You missed out. You know what I mean? Because it was a good one. It was dope. But hey, catch it the next time. All right. But Tony, today the New York Knicks announced, well, actually not the New York Knicks, Ian Begley, Fred Katz, a couple other people, they announced that the Knicks actually have come to an agreement with Jericho Sims on a 3-year contract. Very similar to what Mitchell Robinson received, when he first signed with the New York Knicks, when he was drafted. Similar contract. I think you're looking at a 3-year, $6 million contract for Jericho Sims. All right. I just want to, 3 years, $6 million. I think there's a team option on the 3rd year. So that's what we're looking at for Jericho Sims right now. What are your thoughts on the contract? I mean, I feel like it's it's just a regular contract. I think it's probably going to be a league minimum contract, right? But you look at the contract, but also, what do you expect from Jericho Sims as far as being in the rotation this year?
I think he's going to be situational, but I think Tibbs has come to realize that he can rely on him.
Right.
He's gonna be ready when his number's called.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need an insurance policy with Mitch's frequent injuries. Hopefully he's not injured this year, but if we're going by what we've seen, like it's most likely he'll miss some time at some point. So I like the fact that they did it, locked them up. You know what I mean? Opens up a 2-way spot for someone else to kind of go into the farm system, and he can feel proud. Like I actually made it now. You know what I mean? Like I was fighting before, but now I got guaranteed money.
Right. Right. Yeah. Guaranteed money for Jericho Sims. So let me ask you: if Mitchell Robinson, let's say he does get hurt, right? He goes down, for a game or two, whatever. I'm hoping that he stays healthy all season long, but at some point he's not going to play. Do you expect that Hartenstein is going to step up into the starting lineup, or do you think Tibbs would do something like say, hey, let's keep our rotation the same. Let's put Jericho Sims in the starting lineup. He can do what Mitch does, and then rock with Hartenstein off the bench?
That's a good question. But I think I was gonna just answer you without even listening, but the way you broke that down, it does make it intriguing because he's more similar to Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't put that out of the realm of possibility, but I think Hartenstein will probably step up into that starting lineup. Um, well, I'll say this: if it's 2 games, like you said, like you know what I mean. If it's something that they know is going to be short, maybe they keep that rotation the same, and give Sims the time. If they're not sure how much time Mitch is going to be out, I think they give Hartenstein an opportunity to kind of fill that role, see what they have with the starting unit. I'm intrigued by it too. I don't even know if it's a given that Mitch starts. You know what I mean? Given Hartenstein's skill set, you know what I mean. So it's interesting because we have not seen that with the you know what I mean with this team in quite some time.
Right. That would be something. You know what I mean? If he didn't start, given he got a 4-year, $60 million contract, you know what I mean, $15 million a year. I think Hartenstein is 2 years, $16 million. So that's $8 million a year. It would be, man, it might send Knicks fans into an uproar, to tell you the truth, if Mitch don't start, you know, given the contract situation.
You know Mitch is my guy. You know I was the guy saying pay that man. But I trust Tibbs enough that if he goes into the season starting Hartenstein, it's because he's seen something in their workouts, in their practices.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? I'm sure even if Mitch comes in as the starter in Tibbs' mind, I'm sure they're gonna swap positions in practice sometimes just to see how it looks different with different rotations. So, you know, I trust Tibbs, so I wouldn't care.
Yeah. You know, I think, I think Mitch is going to be slotted in right now or penciled in as the starter. We'll see if there's a battle with Hartenstein. You know what I mean? I'm more wondering if there's going to be a battle between Sims and Hartenstein for the backup spot. Or do you think Hartenstein is kind of slotted in there and Sims is situational in the event that one of the two goes down? You know, and still, I still kind of think, though, because Sims plays so similar to Mitch, that if Mitch goes down, you might see Sims step into that starting unit so that the starting unit they don't skip a beat. You know what I mean? Because Sims is going to do the same things and play the same way. And then the second unit, assuming that Hartenstein's in the second unit, they continue to play the same way. You know, where if Hartenstein jumps into the starting unit and then Sims jumps into that second unit, now you're asking both units to change how they play, right? Because the second unit's going to be used to playing with Hartenstein. First unit's going to be used to playing with Mitch. Now you're asking them to change the way that they play basketball. Now, all of them, everybody should know and understand what they're doing anyway, right? But still, you're asking them to make an adjustment. Now, if something crazy did happen and Hartenstein started over Mitch, then Sims would step right into that second unit if Mitch is in the second unit, and, you know, there you go. It's, you know, an easy transition. But, I mean, I think Mitch is probably going to start. And
I think he's penciled in now.
Yeah.
But I'm only prefacing that off of what could potentially happen in practice. You know what I mean? And we don't know. We're not going to be there.
Right. Yeah, no doubt about that.
And if Tibbs made that decision, I don't think he would just make it to make it. I think it would be based off of something he's seen. But more than likely it's Mitch. They have the rapport.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. I don't think Mitch has averaged 30 minutes a game yet in his career. And I see the cat got his or her 2 cents to put in. You know, probably saying, nah, what are you talking about? Mitch is gonna be the starter. Like, come on, man, what you saying? But Do you expect Mitch to play over 30 minutes a game this year?
48. I think so. Honestly, I think so. If, you know what I mean? If he's healthy, I think so. What has Hartenstein averaged? About 15 minutes?
Yeah, like 17 minutes a game or something
17?
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mitch, this is the year that he should. Hopefully, Brunson brings out a whole different Mitch that we haven't seen.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so
Hey.
I think Mitch definitely breaks the double-digit mark this year. You know what I mean? No more 8 and 8s.
Now,
but yeah,
here's the thing. In order for him to break that double-digit mark, let's say rebounding, right? Because I do think that he can break it point-wise, especially if he averaged 25.7 minutes per game last season. He averaged 27.5 the season before that, and that's his highest, 27.5. If he's getting 30, 32 minutes per game, which I don't think he's going to get, but if he is, he gets 10 and 10 easy, in my opinion. In order for him to raise that rebounding number, though, it's really going to be on the defensive boards.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He averages 4.5 defensive rebounds a game. That was last year, and the year before he averaged that. He averaged 4.1 offensive rebounds per game, which is good, really high. I'd like to see him, grab 2 or 3 more defensive rebounds per game. You know what I mean? And then, of course, the thing about Mitch, because he doesn't create a shot, he doesn't shoot a jump shot, a mid-range, or anything like that, a lot of his points is really going to be predicated on what's happening that night.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? If the defense that night is closing in and leaving the perimeter open, he may not score much. If the defense is really defending the outside because the Knicks get hot, they feel like the Knicks are hot or whatever, then he may get a lot of oops to the basket.
I think Brunson is going to get him 4 more points a game just off of his penetration, because you know what I mean? Like now we have a point guard that could get to the rim. He's gonna make people shift. He's gonna make people.
True.
He's gonna draw attention.
True.
Or at the very least, if they're not shifting, their eyes are gonna be on him. You know what I mean? So I think right there is where Mitch is gonna get 4 more points a game, whether it's off a dip, a drop off. You know what I mean? A extra lob, or even like another putback because his guy rotated off and he's getting that rebound.
Right.
So that might help him with rebounds, and that might help him with 2 to 4 points a game.
If the Knicks shoot the ball better this year, he might get less defensive rebounds. Or if the Knicks are shooting the ball, no, he may get less. He may get less offensive rebounds if the Knicks are shooting the ball better, which I'm okay with. You know what I mean? I'm okay with as long as the Knicks are making shots. Do you think we see, back to Jericho Sims, do you think we see Jericho Sims play in the G League next year? Even though he's got a full contract with the Knicks, guaranteed contract, do you think we see him play in the G League?
I don't see why not, especially if both guys above him are playing and healthy, and you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. I don't see why not. Give him that run. Solidify that junior varsity team, like I like to call them, and let them try to dominate down there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's good for the soul. Winning is good for the soul. So if he could go down there and help the Westchester guys win and get called up when he's ready, right. He could probably do both and still get some garbage time here and there if
with big boys, right? With the big boys. Ronald Miller, he said, Isaiah Hartenstein is a situational floor spacer. Unless they are asking him to dramatically expand his shot profile, he won't play the 4. I don't know if they're. He could play some 4. I don't know if they're expecting him to play the 4 a lot, unless you see he and Mitch on the floor at the same time, or Hartenstein and Sims on the floor at the same time. I don't think he's going to be situational for the team, though. I think Mitchell Robinson gets his 25 minutes per game. right? And then Hartenstein comes in and gets his 23 minutes per game. Or maybe Mitchell Robinson. Let's say Mitchell Robinson gets 30. Then Hartenstein gets his 18. That's what Hartenstein's been averaging for the last 2 years, 18 minutes per game, right? And in those 18 minutes, he's averaging 8.3 points and, 5.5 rebounds over the last 2 years. That's what he's been averaging. Obviously more points because he can shoot the basketball, or the same amount of points as Mitch because he can shoot the basketball, right? But I don't think the Knicks got him to be a situational player. I think they got him to have an expanded role in the offense.
Yeah, give the whole team a look that they haven't seen.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So I don't think he's going to be situational at all. I think Sims is going to be the guy that's situational right now, and that's okay. That's okay. Pudge Nice, yeah. State said Mitch will be an all-star, and now Tony said Mitch off the bench.
First of all, this is a hypothetical. He would have to get beat out to lose the starting job.
Yeah, that's
so hypothetical.
That is funny,
Mitch is my guy.
Funny. That is funny though. But
I would love for Mitch to be an all-star. But I'd rather him be just a defensive player of the year candidate. If you know what I mean. Right.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I would love for him to be a defensive player of the year candidate. You know what I mean? And that should be one of his goals, I think. Trying to be a defensive player of the year candidate. But big shout out to Jericho Sims for securing a 3-year, $6 million contract, a team option in the third year. I think that's really good for him. You know what I mean? Even though, he was the 58th pick. He's not it's not often that a 58th pick, secures a guaranteed contract in the league. So that's good.
Or that early.
Or that, yeah, right.
So
you know what I mean?
A lot of times they bounce around.
Oh, they bounce around for a little bit, find their footing in the league. Then someone says, hey, we can get this guy a contract. So, it's a good thing. And the Knicks are doing a good job of signing their own guys and believing in their guys and trying to give them a chance to grow. We heard it from Quentin Grimes' trainer, right, that the Knicks do a good job of development. And he said, let me not put words in his mouth. He said the Knicks are really focused on development, the development of the young guys. And that seems to go contrary to what people believe about the New York Knicks. But right now, it seems that the Knicks really are focused on developing the young guys and giving guys like Jericho Sims a contract to say, hey, we like what you did last year. We're going to give you 2 years to develop and see what happens there. You know what I mean? And then, we'll make a decision on the third year. Last thing about Sims, and I just thought about this. Do you think because Hartenstein is signed for 2 years, right? And then Jericho Sims is signed for 3 years, but there's a team option for the third year. Do you think the plan could be, let's get Jericho Sims to be the center that we want, and then let him move right into what Hartenstein, move into that Hartenstein position. Do you think they want Jericho Sims working on a 3-point shot? We seen last year in Summer League, he shot a couple of threes. It's going to be interesting to see. The Knicks play Summer League tomorrow. It's going to be interesting to see if he shoots some threes, right? You heard last year, Nerlens Noel talk about shooting some threes, that Tom Thibodeau wanted him to shoot some threes. We seen Taj Gibson shoot the ball more from 3 this year. Last year. We didn't get to see Mitch do it. Jericho Sims didn't really do it besides Summer League. But do you think maybe part of that developmental plan is to say, hey, we're going to give you 2 years to work on this shot. And then at the end of that 2 years, when Hartenstein and Sims, both of their contracts are up, the Knicks can make a decision about whether Jericho Sims can move into that spot and do some of the same things. What do you think?
It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. And I think he could learn. Work on that jump shot, but if he could start passing the ball like Hartenstein as well, that's a whole nother dynamic that he could be working on in this 2-year development plan, if you will. You know what I mean, and kind of judge you then. But I think it's just a good business move. You know what I mean? Give them the two plus an option, and then reevaluate before the third year. So that
Yeah,
it's just smart.
yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. A couple other guys, a couple other things I wanted to talk about before we get to Jalen Brunson and the whole contract thing. Um, Looking at the Knicks signed Trevor Keels, to a two-way contract, right? How you feel about Trevor Keels?
I think what remember last year I was saying we finally got rookies that we don't got to depend on, and they can really just be rookies and learn the league and grow, and I think I was wrong last year when I said that,
Mm-hmm.
but I think he fits that bill now, where there's no pressure on him to come in and really do anything, just grow and learn the game and pick up what you can and be ready if an opportunity presents itself.
Right.
But I'm not looking at him and expecting him to get much time if
Oh yeah.
unless it's due to
Yeah.
injuries. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's finally like now we're in that situation where we can get a young guy and put him in with the other young guys that we're watching and developing,
Right.
and see where he goes. But potential wise, I like him.
Yeah.
I like what he could potentially bring to the big league.
I think the Knicks like him because his size,
Hmm.
right? Uh, I think, and maybe it was you who likened him to Lou Dort. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? He has that body type. So he's going to be tough. And I think Tom Thibodeau wants to add guys that are kind of tough. He can shoot the basketball. He's got decent footwork. And he's young. He's young.
How's his handle and what's his true position?
I think he's a shooting guard.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's a shooting guard. And his handle. I'm not gonna say he's gonna be Kyrie Irving with the handle, but I think it's good enough. He's not gonna get the ball taken from him.
He could create his own shot. I mean,
Uh,
everything that
Everything that I've seen, it's more like, you know, the ball swung to him, guys are closing out, and then he's going off the dribble. I've seen him, put the ball on the floor a little bit and kind of create a little bit, so he may be
yeah.
able to create his own shot. But again, that's a nice young player that you got in your G League that you can see how he comes along.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And the Knicks got him on a two-way contract, so he's basically locked up with the New York Knicks for at least this season. And if he does perform well, you don't have to worry about another team jumping in and saying, "Hey, this is our guy."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I'm excited to see him play. See what he does. We'll see how they decide to work the lineups tomorrow. Obviously, Quentin Grimes and Miles McBride and Jericho Sims, they're going to, headline the Summer League tomorrow, right? They'll be the headliners, and then you're going to have Keels and Jean Montero and Farron Hunt and those guys, they're going to be, I don't want to say second stringers because who knows who's going to start, but they're not going to be the headliners, right? So we'll be looking to see how does Quentin Grimes and Miles McBride and those guys look, but also looking to see what the rookies. Farron Hunt is not a rookie, but the rookies that are coming into the team, what they look like. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I said it.
Yeah.
I said it the other day. I'm like, I feel like Grimes needs to come in and be the scorer of the team, of this
Mm-hmm.
summer league team. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm looking for from him. How has your offensive arsenal expanded? You know what I mean? I want to see a little bit more than catch and shoot and drive at open lanes. I'll see if you could create. I want to see Deuce run the team, be a point guard. You know what I mean? I want to see if because he really hasn't had that opportunity yet. You know, I think quickly handled the ball when they played together more times than not. So I want to see that from him. Um, Same thing with Sims as far as how has your offensive game expanded? What can you do down low on the paint? Keel, I'm watching with fresh eyes, so I'm not even expecting anything.
Right.
So I think anything he gives or shows is going to be a pleasant surprise because I really don't have any expectation.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and then I think Montero, that's his name, Montero.
Jan Montero. I think it's Jan
He,
actually. Why? I think it's a J. I don't think it's
from the
John or
Dominican
Gene. I think it's
Republic.
Jan.
He's the wild card for me. And I say that because I remember, when we was doing all our scouting and looking at the draft prospects and the mock drafts, I've seen him in the first round for sure, in mock drafts. I've seen him in the second round for sure. And we talk about an undrafted guy, so
Right.
I think
There's a lot of people that believe that he could be the steal. A lot of people believe that he could be a steal. You know what I'm saying? I watched some highlights. Obviously, I haven't watched a bunch of full games of him. I watched some highlights, and he's got skill. He's definitely got some skill. And, I'm pretty sure right now the Knicks are going to, see how he looks in Summer League, see how he looks in training camp. He's got an Exhibit 10 contract, and then make a decision on whether or not they want to sign him to a two-way, right? You can only have two two-way players.
Mm-hmm.
So that would mean Farron Hunt, might be on his way out. And then Montero takes his spot as, that second two-way player. Now, do you want two guards as your two-way players, or do you want to have a forward and a guard, right?
I mean, I think promoting the big man, it just opens up the spot for, it could be two guards, you know what I mean? It could be, it could be, and it's not 2 point guards, like they're different positional guards. So right. I think that makes it okay. Do you think Montero puts any pressure on Deuce?
On Deuce.
And I'll preference that by saying if he gets the two-way spot, because I anticipate Deuce playing in the G League this year too, even being signed, because I don't know where he gets minutes. You know what I mean? With Brunson, with Rose, with IQ. I don't know where he gets his opportunity.
Right. I mean, I think his opportunity is gonna come, by playing in the G League. In the Summer League, showing what he can do in training camp, and then, I think that's where his opportunity is gonna come. I think right now, the Knicks are probably looking at him as a developmental guy. I don't think they're gonna be looking at him and saying, hey. Unless he just really comes in and knocks it out the park. You know what I mean? And I seen someone in the chat say that Montero is not even on a Summer League roster, and he is on a Summer League roster. So I don't know where you got that information from, my friend, but he is on the Summer League roster. Right? But I don't think he puts any pressure on Deuce. Unless he just really comes in and kills it, then maybe there could be some pressure on Deuce, but initially thinking, and I know he's talented, but initially thinking, I don't think so. But
I don't know how talented he is, but what I know is his motor is through the roof. You know what I mean? He's a guy that just don't stop, if you will. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't know how he is. I don't know if he's that way defensively. And that may be what he needs to do, especially with his size, with his lack of size.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's gonna have to be pesty.
Right.
But if he's as feisty defensively as he is offensively, I think he's gonna put some pressure on Deuce to have to perform and show.
Yeah. Nah. Let me get to his caller real quick, and then we'll take a quick look at the summer league roster, and then we're gonna get to this breakdown of the signing trade options with Jalen Brunson. All right. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
This is Tawan. I'm from North.
What's your name again? Tawan, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
I'm all right. You?
I'm doing pretty good.
I'm trying to figure out why we wasting so much money and time on. I mean, Brunson is nice. He's a proven champion, through high school and college.
Mm-hmm.
But did y'all ever see? I mean, I'm a St. John's fan, so
okay.
I watched a lot of Shamari Pond. Did you see what Shamari did to this man? He put up 37 on him. Brunson only scored 12. He can't. I mean, I'm trying to figure out why he's not even being tried out for the Knicks, and he's right in our backyard for the low price.
Bro, I mean, how long has it been that Shamari Pons has been out of college in the league?
He's been in the G League putting up the same numbers.
I don't know, man.
You gotta do the research on that, man.
I mean, putting up what numbers though? Because the G League, listen, Deuce McBride was dropping 30 whatever points in a game in the G League.
Right, but look at who we got now, though. You go back on YouTube and you watch them games. Shamari against Brunson, he couldn't handle him.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but it's you got to be able to do it in the league, bro. You got to be able to do it in the league. And Brunson has proved it already that he can do it in the league.
And sometimes there's a guy that got your number.
Yeah,
and that don't mean you're not that guy against everybody else.
I think sometimes it's just not your night. He had everybody's number in the Big East. The whole 3 years he was there, he had everybody's number.
He was nice. It's no doubt about it. He was nice in the Big East. I'm a St. John's fan too. The league is a different beast, and you got to be able to do it in the league.
We got to give him a chance, though. He playing for the Blue Coats.
But so let me ask you this: why is it that no other team? He's been in the G League for how long?
I think this might be his second season there.
So why is it that no other team is giving him a chance?
I really don't. I was hoping you could tell me. I was hoping you could tell me. I don't know if it's a old injury or what. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't see why the Knicks ain't. I mean, he right in the backyard.
Okay.
We could have got him for the low. We ain't have to spend no $100 million on him. You know what I'm saying? We could have got him for the real low. And I mean, bring him in the camp.
I mean,
let him back him up to something and show his shit.
I can feel that. I can feel that bringing him in the camp. I don't think you're going to be looking at Shamari Pons as your starting point guard right now. He's unproven. And the Knicks need a starting point guard. They need somebody who's going to be able to go out there and produce. And right now, Shamari Pons, nobody knows if he's going to be able to produce in the league. I think that's the big thing.
You know what? You know who else was like that? And he led the NCAA that year in assists. Ed Cota. Ed Cota never got a chance.
But check this out. 514 people on this chat. 3 people know who he is. You dig what I mean?
But they don't. They got to learn their history though.
No, I mean, what I'm saying is some people just don't make it, bro. Some people just don't make it.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough league out there, man. But hey, I appreciate your call. And who knows? Maybe he'll be another guy. Maybe Pons will get picked up somewhere. I don't know if it's gonna be the Knicks.
You remember this conversation if they ever give him a chance. Because I mean, a lot of people was picking. I was a Halliburton fan when it was coming in, and everybody picked that boy from Alabama, and he doing better than all of them people there. Everybody picked on this panel, man. I was like, wow, Halliburton. We should have tried to put our money on him.
I feel
and try to get him the second time.
Nah, I feel you. I'm a big Halliburton fan. I am. But hey, my man, I appreciate your time. Appreciate the call.
All right, thanks, bro.
Have a good one. Appreciate it.
Actually, I just wanted to ask him if he likes Brunson or not.
Oh, don't sound like he likes Brunson, or maybe he don't like him for the contract. Let me say that. Maybe he doesn't like him for the contract that he got. See, people in the chat say he's got to be Shamari Pond's cousin or something like that. I mean, maybe he just likes Shamari Pond, or maybe he met him or something like that.
There's guys like that. I mean, like you said, it's two different worlds. Sometimes it's reputation. Sometimes it's one incident that gets around. You know what I mean? Not saying that's the case, but
right.
Somebody got it. Everybody, everybody's looking. They looking for guys every day. Everybody got a scouting team. You know what I mean? They G League affiliate team. So it's not like he's not being seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to make the league, man. It's not easy, and once you get into the league, once you start playing against that level of competition, I say it all the time. You don't know what your heart's gonna do. You know what I mean? You might get up there and all of a sudden your heart starts pumping fear, and it changes everything about your game. But anyway, tomorrow we're gonna get a chance to see Jan Montero, Trevor Keels, and these guys. And I'm excited to see them. We'll take a quick look at the Summer League roster. All right, and please make sure you subscribe to the channel right now if you're not subscribed, as we're waiting for the Summer League roster to jump on your screen. And there it goes, ladies and gentlemen. All right, you can see who we have here on the screen. And you see Jan Montero, I keep saying Jan Montero right there on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to pull this up a little bit bigger for me to see it, because I think you guys can see it, but I can't read all of the names, so I'm going to pull this up on my screen over here really large so I can see it. My old eyes need it. We got Javon Blair, Garrison Brooks, Vince Edwards, Quentin Grimes, Farron Hunt, Daquan Jeffries, Trevor Keels, Miles McBride, Jan Montero, Micah Potter, Quentin Rose, Deshaun Schwartz, Amir Sims. How long has Amir Sims been on the Summer League roster? And, you know what I mean?
He's fighting, bro. He's fighting.
He's fighting. He's been on the Summer League roster for a long time. Jericho Sims, MJ Walker. Well, MJ Walker, he just got there last year, right?
Nah,
was it last year?
Yeah, 2 years.
Maybe
2 years with us.
Okay, and head coach Dice Yoshimoto. So you get a chance to see these guys play tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. 8 p.m. on ESPN2. I hope Amir Sims gets picked up somewhere. He been grinding it out Summer League rosters in the G League for a while. You know what I mean? So I hope he gets a chance to he gets picked up somewhere, somehow. You know what I mean? Somewhere, somehow. Let's get on to signing trades, ladies and gentlemen, for Jalen Brunson. And I'm going to take this slide back just a little bit. There we go. Because we want to start with sign and trade into cap space. There's a really good article by Ian Begley that really breaks down the options to sign and trade for Jalen Brunson. All right. If you go into the link into the description of this video, there's a link there to the article so that you can check it out. Read it for yourself. It's a really, really good article. Gives you a lot of insight into how the Knicks could and might maneuver. I tell you what, and I seen someone say it on Twitter today, man, like that salary cap can be confusing the way that they break things down all the time. It's like, it's a lot of stuff that goes into it sometimes. But we're going to go ahead and break this down and take a look at it I'll read some things from the article as well, but I advise you to go check out the article if you have not checked it out already. All right. And before we look at the signing trades, the first thing the Knicks can do is sign Brunson into their cap room, right? You sign him into the cap room, you don't have to worry about any kind of signing trades. It's part of the reason that the Knicks cleared up space so that they could just sign him outright and not have to worry about signing trades in the event that the Dallas Mavericks didn't want to play ball with the Knicks. And it looks like it could be that way because the Mavericks are mad at the New York Knicks. Right, but then it also puts pressure on the Dallas Mavericks so that they don't lose Jalen Brunson for nothing, especially when they could have extended him. All right, but if the Knicks do sign Brunson into cap room, just straight up cap, no signing trades, it's going to take them right up to the salary cap. Right up to the salary cap. Okay, so they really wouldn't have money to spend elsewhere. The only way they would have money to spend elsewhere is if they waived Taj Gibson. Then they'd get an additional $5.2 million to spend before they hit the cap if they waive Taj Gibson, because his contract right now is not guaranteed for next season. They'd be able to sign Mitchell Robinson over the cap. And then they would have the room mid-level exception, which is $5.4 million up to 2 years. All right, so they would have that money to be able to spend for an additional free agent if they chose to do so. I'm not sure who you're getting with that money. A lot of people are floating Carmelo Anthony's name out there. I don't know how that's going to work with Obi Toppin and Julius Randle. As much as I love Carmelo and want him to be back, I don't know how it's going to work. All right, but, that's another conversation for another day. So if the Knicks decided to just straight up use cap space, that's how it would work out for the New York Knicks. And they'd be, they wouldn't be spending any more money anyplace else besides the room mid-level exception. Now, if they do a sign and trade into cap space, right, meaning the Knicks have this $33 million free, and they do a sign and trade, but they do not take back or they do not send out salary, they don't send any salary out, it's almost just like signing him, except you're doing a sign and trade and the Dallas Mavericks would get something. The Knicks may get a small return. So what you're seeing on your screen right now, a couple of bullet points from the article, right? So if the Knicks do a sign and trade into cap space, it'll take the Knicks up to the salary cap. They'll be able to re-sign Mitchell Robinson over the salary cap. Right, they would have the room mid-level exception to be able to sign Sims and Hartenstein within there, right? The way that they can work it out. Okay, whatever those two guys' salaries turn out to be for that 1 year, right? So, Jericho Sims might be $1.8 million in year one. You know what I mean? And then who knows what Hartenstein might be. But, you may be able to use that money plus a little bit more to sign both of them into the MLE. Okay. Also, the Dallas Mavericks would receive a $12 million trade exception. And then it's possible that the Knicks get a small return from the Dallas Mavericks, which could be like a second-round pick. All right. So that's what it would look like if you do a sign and trade into cap space. Like I said, this is a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff with the salary cap and everything, man. It's just a lot of stuff. Next, you can go over the cap. You can do an over the cap sign and trade. Right? So if you're doing over the cap sign and trade, right, they would acquire Brunson while remaining over the cap. They could exceed the cap to sign Mitchell Robinson, and they could sign Hartenstein with part of the mid-level exception, the non-taxpayer mid-level exception. Right, so in this scenario, they would have the remainder of the exception, about $2.7 million, and the biannual exception, about $4.1 million, to use on other players. They could fit Sims' deal into the non-taxpayer mid-level exception as well. In this scenario, they'd be able to keep $9.2 million, keep a $9.2 million trade exception that they created by trading Kemba Walker. Right? They could also involve a third team like Detroit. They would also need to send out $19 million in a sign and trade scenario if they were operating over the cap, right? And the reason why they would have to send out that $19 million is so that they could use these exceptions. If they don't send out the $19 million, they won't be able to use the exceptions to sign other players. All right, so it would be easy to use the Detroit Pistons because they would acquire Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel as part of a 3-team sign and trade. Right? And as I just said, the Knicks would get access to Kemba Walker's trade exception and the exceptions, the other exceptions, right? The non-taxpayer mid-level exception, the biannual exception, et cetera, et cetera. Right? To entice Detroit, Dallas could possibly send a future pick to the Pistons. And of course, the Dallas Mavericks would receive about a $12 million trade exception. And then there's the possibility, an unlikely possibility, of a 2-team sign and trade between the Knicks and the Dallas Mavericks. This seems like it might not work because, one, the Dallas Mavericks are mad with the New York Knicks, because they feel like the Knicks tampered with Jalen Brunson. And then the Dallas Mavericks would be way over the cap. If they bring back $19 million, they're going to be way over the cap because the Knicks would have to send out $19 million. The Mavs would have to send $3 million to the Knicks. The Knicks could use their they could absorb the $3 million with the Kemba Walker trade exception, right? But the Mavericks already are way over the cap. And if they take back this $19 million without bringing back a player like Brunson, right? They might have been willing to do it for Brunson, but to bring back Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel, they probably don't want to go over the cap. They may not even want to go over the cap like that for Evan Fournier. Right? So this seems to be pretty much unlikely that it happens. This is what I would really like to happen because I would like to see the Knicks send, a player like Evan Fournier, free up more cap rooms, Evan Fournier to the Dallas Mavericks, et cetera, but that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Either way, so, for people asking questions that, like, why is it that it's not official yet with Jalen Brunson? This is likely why. Because they're probably negotiating and trying to figure out which is the best way to go about it. Right? Is there going to be a sign and trade? Or are we just going to sign him into the cap? Trying to figure it out. I think when it's all said and done, because it's going to benefit all teams, it's going to be a 3-way deal between the Knicks, Dallas, and Detroit. That's what I'm thinking, Tony. When it's all said and done, that's what will probably happen. Detroit will get the players that they like. Dallas will get their $12 million trade exception. The Knicks will get Jalen Brunson and maybe even a second-round pick back. And then the deal will be done. And TJ said, all of this is hella complicated. It is. It's crazy complicated. Seems like it's complicated for no reason. My man Alex B said that from the Bad Weather Fans podcast, right? And he's right. It's just complicated for no reason. All these exceptions and this and that is a little bit crazy sometimes. It's hard to understand. But what do you think is the likely situation that's going to happen?
I honestly think they're too sensitive and they're not going to want to do any type of business. So it's just going to be using our cap space on Brunson. That's what I think.
I think that would be a bad move by Dallas.
I agree. I agree. It is the dumb move, but I was informed that last year one of those two teams that I don't know if it was the Alonzo Ball. It might have been both actually. They ended up being signing trades even with the
The whole
sanction.
sanctions and all that, right? Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, I was under the assumption that they would just want the sanctions, and I didn't know they could have both. Like basically, your cake and eat it too. You could do the signing trade, and we could still get the tampering charge.
Right.
And so,
Because, yeah, I mean, to me,
but yeah, the smartest thing is for them to at least try to get that $12 million trade exception.
Right.
They could use that down the line, within the year, I believe, to to absorb at least $12 million of someone's contract.
Right? You know what I mean?
And you know what I mean. Maybe if it's a bigger contract, now you only got to give up. Like if it's a $30 million player, now you only got to send back what
18 or something.
18.
You know, it wouldn't, to me, you're going to lose Jalen Brunson anyway. Any way you slice it, he's not coming back to Dallas. You know what I mean? He's going to be a New York Knick. So you can either get a $12 million trade exception out of it or nothing at all. You know, so you might as well go ahead, as mad as you are, go ahead and get a $12 million trade exception. You know, don't be salty that you got Kristaps Porzingis and he didn't work out. Don't be salty that Jalen Brunson wanted to go play for the Knicks too. Just do what you got to do. You know, handle your business. You know what I mean?
Ain't that something too? All the information that might have been fed to Brunson about New York.
You know? Right.
And he still want to be here.
Right. Exactly. He still wants to be a Knick. He probably feels like being a Knick is his destiny or something. I don't know. You know, but that's the complicated matter of Jalen Brunson's signing trades. If you get a chance, again, go check out the article by Ian Begley. The link is in the description of the video. Yeah, you know, Andy David said these cap spaces are so complicated. Yeah, you know, it can get really, really confusing. That's why you gotta have somebody who knows what they're doing.
A capologist.
A capologist. Right. You gotta have somebody who knows what they're doing, who understands it in and out, right? And understands how to maneuver around the cap and all that kind of stuff.
And knows how to break it down in layman's terms.
Break it down in layman's terms. So that, you know, I'm sure Leon Rose gets it. Worldwide West might not. He might be like, "Oh, what the hell's going on?" You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we can break it down in layman's terms and help people to understand exactly what's going on. Because everything that I just read, most of the people in the chat are like, just let me know when he's on the team. You know what I'm saying?
They like, just tell us which one's the best one.
Yeah. Just tell us which one is the best one. Like, which one should they do? Let me know. And you know what? I can't even tell you that because I'm trying to figure it out myself. I don't know. Shout out to CL Kenrick. Thank you for the super chat. He said, Dallas Mavericks hating on the Knicks getting Jalen Brunson. Brunson made his choice to go to the New York Knicks. Yeah, he made his choice. I think part of it is, you know, they ended with some bad blood. You know what I mean? A little bit of bad blood because they didn't want to sign him to an extension and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Nate, what's up, man? How you feeling?
What's up, guys?
I'm good.
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good.
What's up, Tony?
Thanks, Nate.
Yeah, we just doing some updates, man. We're doing some updates on Knicks free agency. Looking at the Summer League roster a little bit. I'm going to do a full show tomorrow on Summer League, you know, probably about 3:30, talking about all of these players, not all of these players, but some of these players, what we expect from them, what we want to see from guys like Quentin Grimes and so on and so forth. We just finished going over Jalen Brunson and the possible signing trade options. Okay. And if the Knicks are able to free up a little bit of cap room, and they'll be able to do it regardless. Even if they sign him in the cap space, they can free up $5 million. Okay? Now, some of these other mid-level exceptions are going to be used for Jericho Sims. They're going to be used for Hartenstein, et cetera, et cetera. But they can still free up $5 million what would you like to see the Knicks do if they decide to free up $5 million by waiving Taj Gibson? Tony, what would you like to see the Knicks do?
Man, I'm still a fan of Melo, of bringing Melo back. Obviously, if they do that, for me, I feel like Melo has to take on the same role as Taj Gibson, and really mentor and be ready if needed. If he's willing to do that, and you know what I mean, obviously, you know, he knows the circumstances before agreeing to him. You know what I mean?
That's the hard part.
I would love it. Especially if he feels like this is last season, then I want him here. You know what I mean? If you feel like he could play 3-4 more years, all right, we wait it out. You know what I mean? But the farewell tour needs to be in New York. Other than that, I mean, pay somebody. We gotta find a bruiser. You know, we gotta find somebody who's willing to take a suspension, that's willing to take a hard foul, that's willing to put somebody on their backside. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, listen, I love Melo. I really want Melo to be a New York Knick again. But I just don't feel he's gonna play a Taj Gibson role. I don't think he's ready to do that. You know what I mean?
I mean,
because he can still ball.
I mean, that's up to him. I wouldn't want him here, and I can't even say I wouldn't want him here, because even if he came in and he was fighting for minutes and he earned them, then he earned them. You know what I mean? So if he outplaying whoever he outplaying and he deserved to play, then he deserved to play. And that's another thing. If he's willing to do that, and you know what I mean, like, but on the flip side, we talk about Tom Thibodeau. He always wanted Melo.
Always wanted Melo. Melo's gonna be on the floor.
He might start. He might put him at the point guard. He's the best. He's the best option.
Listen. Let me tell you, Tibbs is gonna put Melo out there on the floor, bro. We ain't having it. Tibbs is gonna put him out there on the floor if he's there. There's no doubts about it.
The Garden's gonna want him on the floor.
They might.
All right. I don't think I got to ask you about it, but did you see the video with Dolan leaving?
Yes, I did see that. I did see
30
that.
seconds
and
later,
Melo was leaving a little bit later. I did see that.
what was you thinking when you saw that?
I was waiting to hear what he was gonna say when the dude asked him, about the Knicks. Are you coming back to the Knicks? He didn't say nothing. He was quiet.
And then he said,
and then he talked about Luka and what's it called, his contract.
Jokic, and he was like, they deserve it.
They deserve it. Right. But he didn't say nothing about the Knicks. He knows better. He knows how to deal with it. Nate, the Knicks decide to waive Taj Gibson and free up $5 million. What would you like to see him do?
I mean, we need another big. I think if Obi goes down, you don't want to see Randall playing. I mean, he probably will, but you don't want to see him playing a whole bunch of minutes if Obi goes down or something happens. You definitely need another insurance big. Preferably somebody who can play
Melo then.
Yeah, no.
I guess that's what you mean. No, why not?
He needs somebody. Here's the caveat: you need somebody who can play defense. That's going to be hard to find because I can't think of anybody off the top of my head who's out there.
Right. So why not Melo? Okay. So what you're saying we need another 4. You said Julius Randle and Obi Toppin. And then you said you ain't going to find nobody that can play defense, so you might as well get somebody that can play offense.
Sim, I love Melo, but he's going to get blocked by the rim himself. Like, I don't even know how much he's got left.
He was not. Listen, he was. I'm not going to say he was cooking like a superstar in L.A., but he was still giving you 13 points a game.
Threes at a high level.
Shooting and still dunking.
Barely dunking, yeah.
And shooting like almost 40% from 3.
Hey, all I need is a good 9 minutes, Melo. 9 minutes a night. play the best
I mean,
defense
he
of
could
your life
definitely
for
get you
9
some.
minutes
He
every
could definitely
night.
get you some in like a 10, 15-minute interval. But the thing is that it's got to be Obi's got to go down for that to happen.
Stop saying that though.
Yeah,
I'm just being real. I mean,
Yeah,
a guy's an above the rim type of player. There's always possibility he can come land wrong.
Carmelo Anthony last year, 13.3 points a game, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, shot 44% from the field and 37.5% from three. Just saying.
I'll say this then: if we trade Obi by any way possible,
we're not trading.
I'm just saying. But if we did, then I would be an advocate to go get Melo.
I hear you. We're not
because then Melo could be better than the Taj Gibson role. He could be the mentor, but he could also score too.
And I think Melo would be great for Obi and for Randall. That's the funny thing about it.
He would.
I think he could show Randall how to handle New York like a true professional. You know what I mean?
Right.
Through bad times, through turmoil.
Melo's he would have like you said, Tony. He would have to really agree to be an insurance policy. He'd have to agree to it. I just don't know if Melo is ready to agree to that, but he would have to agree to it. I think for this team right now.
The funny thing is, I feel like he would. I feel like he would.
So? Okay.
Like, and I say that because he's not the same Melo. You know what I mean? Like once he got humbled. You know what I mean? And almost was out the league. At this point, I think he would embrace it. You know what I mean? Like I think he would embrace showing Obi the jab step. And you know what I mean? Like
also RJ Barrett.
Yeah.
RJ Barrett, big time. I mean,
he could work with RJ Barrett.
It would be beautiful to have Derrick Rose, Carmelo Anthony, and Taj Gibson as your 3 situational players. I don't know if, think about it. Two of your main players get hurt, and you can come in and say, well, we got Melo and Rose and Taj that can come in, for this 5-game stretch and give us major minutes. Like, that's dope. That would be tough. I believe Derrick Rose is willing to do it. We know Taj is willing to do it. Will Carmelo do it? That's the question.
And
for a mediocre team.
And they could be ready if we get to the playoffs. Ready if you know what I mean, like for a good 9 to especially Melo or Rose, they could win us a playoff game. Like or on a humble, you know what I mean? Like I'm not saying a series, but they could literally come in and win us a game.
Nah, no doubt about it.
Like how nuts is that?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, the Los Angeles Lakers gave that number 7 jersey to somebody else.
They did.
So he's probably not going. Melo ain't giving up that number to just anybody, right? Doesn't look like it's going back to L.A. Where else? Where can he go where he's going to contend for a championship but play?
Heat.
Maybe. I don't know.
Sixers.
The Heat, Miami Heat. PJ Tucker is gone.
Yeah, but
PJ Tucker is in Philadelphia now.
I'm not saying he won't be there, but if there's another team that like lives and dies by defense and that Monarch, why would he fit there?
I'm saying because of PJ Tucker, because they haven't replaced PJ Tucker.
No, there's definitely a spot for him. I think they try to find you know what though? I could see it, because I think they still have enough defenders around them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not in that second unit though.
I'll throw a team out there.
I could see him going to the Clippers for sure.
They have way too many wings in it.
Brooklyn.
I could see him going to Brooklyn if things mellow out.
Right.
Hey, what about Dallas? They need a wing guy because Hardaway's going to play the 2. I think they like Dimwick coming off the bench.
What about
he will sit on the bench in New York before he goes to Dallas?
What about Utah?
I don't see
They're
it.
a rebuilding situation.
I don't see it.
Yeah.
I think
Maybe
his first
Portland?
option
Oh, here he
is Portland, maybe
You can maybe go
he's-
back to Portland, yeah. Play
because
with
he
Dame.
did it before,
Yeah.
and it may be that like Dame's last chance type situation. So I could see Portland only because he was there before. But if it's other than Portland, if it's not like an 80% chance that he's winning the chip, I think he comes to New York.
Hey, we're talking about the elephant in the room. What about Golden State? They lost a lot of players already.
Yeah, but I think they got young guys. I think
you would take a cheap deal to go win a chip.
I think he got young guys. I think they got young guys who are ready to step in and play.
Yeah, but they also need those veteran players too, because they lost Porter, they lost Toscano, they lost Peyton.
Yeah,
I mean, they weren't young guys, they weren't vets. You know, I'm just saying.
That's gonna be interesting, man.
And,
but I would love to have him as a situational player in New York. I would love it.
It would be nice for him to finish his career in New York.
Yeah,
and transition. You know what I mean? Like he could literally be our Haslam and
play for 20 years.
Play for 3 more years. You know what I mean? If he's willing to, play when when we need him to play. But you know what I mean?
And the thing is, that time is gonna come. You know what I'm saying? The time is going to come when he's going to be needed out there on the floor because injuries going to happen. COVID is still around, so that's going to happen too. You know what I mean? His time, it'll come.
Hey, Sim, I got a question. Somebody in the chat put after the Sims got that signing, you think there's any chance that they might try to play him at the power forward at some points if there was an injury to Obi or something like that? Since they got the Hartenstein guy who's still young, I mean,
I guess they could. Power forward or center, whichever one he could play with Hartenstein. Yeah.
He's a good rebounder. He can rebound. He just needs to work on a jump shot, like all our bigs do.
I don't know. We'll see how this goes down, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow, the Knicks begin summer league play. I'll be on about 3:30 to do a game preview. I got practice from 6 to 8, so I'll be leaving out of practice, catching the game, and then after the game, we'll do a post-game show, talk about, what happened during summer league. So make sure you check that out. The Knicks play Golden State tomorrow. I think Kuminga is playing, right, tomorrow. We'll get a chance to see Quentin Grimes, Miles McBride, Jericho Sims, Trevor Keels, Jan Montero, Amir Sims for his 20th season in summer league. But yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Remember, keep in the back of your mind that we're having the first annual MBK cookout in Brooklyn. Okay. The details are coming soon. We just want to make sure we got everything straight. The details are coming soon. So keep that in the back of your mind. It's going to be in September. All right, Tony, any last words before we get out of here?
Mentor Mello, your blackest time. As always, Sim, I appreciate you. Have a good night, Nate. Shout out to the chat.
Too,
I'm like 165 subscribers away from 1,000. So
yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, go subscribe to Knicks and Bruises, man.
Yes,
go subscribe to Knicks and Bruises. Let's get this man to 1,000 subscribers. Nate, any last words before you get out of here?
Looks like the Knicks are, making smart moves. I just saw Tibbs on TV. I'm watching the summer league, and I guess he can't get away from basketball, so he's watching more basketball.
Hey, that's Tibbs for you. That's what he does.
But yeah, excited to watch these young Knicks play tomorrow. Want to see what this Keels guy looks like, and go from there.
That's what Tibbs does. Greg just said it in the chat. He said, Sim, they just showed Tibbs at the Houston game. He's scouting. That's what he does. He loves basketball. He is a basketball junkie.
Yeah, forget gambling. Just go watch basketball all the time.
But ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. I appreciate you guys' time. And again, I'll catch you tomorrow, 3:30. Game preview, Summer League. We out of here. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.